Okay, first of all, congratulations for your new best e-bike kit from Bikee Bike. Let's proceed with the unboxing. We got the installation manual. We have crank arms, left side and right side. We have the battery holder for the bottle type battery. And then we have the motor itself. And there is the big box attached at the controller box, in which all the electronic fits in. It comes with a wire, a splitter wire with all the signal to the handlebar, the battery charger, and also the throttle and sensors. We have some shims to make sure that the motor is aligned, and also we have a screw for the crank arms. Installation manual for the battery charger. Okay, let's proceed with the installation now. Please note that inside each box we are gonna print a code, which is the PIN number for your connection. Let's proceed with the center bike. We are going to remove the bottom bracket. This is the operation that almost any bike repair can do, so we'll skip that. Just to give you a quick overview, we're going to remove the crank arms and the bottom bracket itself. If you are not an expert, we suggest you to have this operation made by a repair center. Okay, now the bottom bracket is removed and we can proceed with the installation. We have a standard BSA bottom bracket in here, so the installation is pretty straightforward. We're going to remove the bottle holder so that we can fix the battery holder by that 2 screws to your frame. Okay, we can now proceed and install the motor. Let's remove the lock nut ring, and then there is a laser cut metal plate. We're going to remove that because we are going to install that on the opposite side of the motor. It is fixed by 2 screws. And there are some. Let's place the motor into the frame and push it all the way through. We have to verify that the chain ring is not touching the frame. If it touches the frame, there are some shims we can put inside the bottom bracket to make sure that it's spaced enough. There's enough clearance between the frame and the motor and the chain rings. Now, with a zip tie, we're going to pass it into the plastic frame protection till it goes all the way through and pops out on the other side, and fix it to the frame. Doesn't have to be super tight, that is just to make sure that the motor is not moving, but all the torque of the motor will be exerted on the frame by lifting the frame up. Now we are ready to place the laser cut metal plate on the other side. In this box you will find some washers to place between the metal plate and the controller box to make sure that the metal plate sits flat against the bottom bracket and the controller box. So you place the washers both at the front and at the rear. You tighten both screws. And after that you can place the lock nut ring onto the motor bracket thread. There is a washer, which is a spring washer with some lobes on it, and one of the lobes should be put into the metal plate then, and the other one should be bent backwards onto the lock nut ring housing. The tightening force should be 40 Newton meter. And now let's proceed to bend one of the teeth of the washer. You can do the job with a screwdriver and a hammer. Okay, so now the motor is fixed. Let's proceed with the wiring. Those are signal wiring, very easy, green with green, violet with violet. And let's put those in between the controller box and the bottom bracket. Later on we will fix those with the zip ties. Let's proceed fixing the speed sensor with zip ties. We pick the magnet and screw it to one poke. With the magnet facing the sensor that we just installed onto the frame. The distance between the two should be 2 millimeters, but after that the battery is installed, we'll be able to verify whether the sensor is working properly by checking the red light on the sensor. There is a connector, yellow connector, should be connected. Make sure that the wire is securely fastened to the frame to make sure that the wire doesn't go on the wheel, goes in problem, and then we put that connector above the controller box. We fix and secure the wire to the frame with the zip ties. And then we trim the exceeding part with the zip ties. Okay, we can take the pedal from our existing bike. Beware, there are two kinds of thread depending on whether the pedal is left side or right side. Pay attention to that. And then we can screw the pedal onto the Bikee Bike crank arms. We can now place the left pedal on and screw it. proceed with the right one as well. Okay, so now the motor is on, is secured to the frame. We got the crank arms with pedals on, and we have the speed sensor installed. We can now proceed with the battery support. There is a rubber band, and that has to be placed between the support and the frame to make sure that the support doesn't move with the vibrations. Please beware, because the support is screwed onto the frame by only two screws. Do not tighten those too much, just enough to make sure that the battery is firmly secured to the frame. You can use at this point the battery support to secure with zip ties the cables coming out of the controllers by placing zip ties between the battery support and the frame. Okay, let's check the battery dimension, make sure that the battery fits in. If everything is okay, we can proceed and tighten the two fixing screws of the battery support. Let's proceed now with the cable routing. Let's fix what we call splitter underneath the handlebar. That has 4 different cables, which are the 2 brake sensor. One is for the throttle, and the blue one is for the display and the optional, which are yet to come. Plus, there is another USB port, which is used for recharging your smartphone while riding. Let's trim and clean out a little bit all the installation. Okay, let's install now the grip. We have to remove the existing one. You can use an air compressor to do that pretty quickly. Pump some air in it and it will pop off easily. Okay, let's put the new grip on. We have 2 parts. One is the grip and the other one is the throttle. On the right side, we want to put the throttle in that. There are 2 different kinds of it. One is a half grip, which is the one you're seeing, and the other one is full grip, as in a motorbike. Be careful when tightening the throttle. Do not tighten that too much, because otherwise the screw, which is threaded on the plastic, will break. So always check whether it's turning or not. When it's not turning, that's enough. Let's do the same on the other side. That's easier. Air compressor, some air in it, and it will pop off. We can now remove with alcohol just a little bit of glue on the handlebar to make sure it's clean before putting our grip on. Let's firmly put the grip inside. And now it's time to install the brake sensor. Brake sensor are used to disengage the motor when the brake levers are pressed. So this is a safety feature. It's very important, and it's made to fit any existing brake lever and pump type. So you have adhesive tape on them. If you want to be 100% sure they not move, you can use super glues, gorilla glues, and they will stay there for a very long time. let's connect the brake sensor to the connectors. They should be connected to the yellow connector, which are identical. It doesn't matter whether you install right one or left one. If you flip those, as soon as one lever is pressed, the motor will stop turning. Let's fasten the cable on the controller box. Make sure you are doing a clean job and the cables do not have any room to move so that they don't go around on your bike. Now let's connect the magnet connector that is bringing the juice from the battery to the controller box, and also it has two signal pins. It's all about cable routing in here. You should install in a way that it doesn't go around. Stay firmly there and in a straight position. You want the two connectors to be coupled very straight, one to each other, very aligned. It's time to put the battery on. The bottom first, and then the upper part. You push the button, you will see the green LEDs. You take your phone after you install your app, either on Google Play or from the App Store for iPhones. Okay, the first time you will have to set that up. So first thing is the country in which you're in. Make sure that your power level matches the country you are selecting. So for instance, 750 watt for USA. Now the wheel diameter, unit of measurement, you can select either kilometer or miles. Let's go with a kilometer in this case. And then the app will scan to look for your Bikee Bike best kit. Okay, here you go. You will see Bikee Bike and then a 4-digit number, which is your ID. That's the 96th motor. And then you have to click the right arrow to go ahead. Then there is the gyro procedure. We can skip that by now. And then here you go. You have all the data on your smartphone. All the fields are populated. We have another video showing all the features of the app. So go back into the setting and you have to input your PIN number, which is attached into a sticker inside the motor box. Okay. This will enable you to change the setting, in this case the assistance level. And with the app, you can now set the brake sensors. Because actually, when you're pressing the brake, the magnet will go farther from the sensor, and you should see on the app that the assistance level switch from the one you set to 0. That means that the motor assistance is cut off. You can also check that the speed sensor is working. As you can see, there should be a red light, and when the magnet passes this, it will turn off. Put the chain on. By adjusting the two setting screws, you should make sure that your front derailleur can only accept two chain rings. Again, this is a standard procedure for a normal bike, no difference in here. If you can do that, just go to your local shop and they will do that pretty quickly. Make sure that the two chain rings are working with the pinion on the rear wheel, and that's done. Congratulations, now you have your very powerful e-bike.